Did you know that in Goblin Cleanup, a game about cleaning and rearranging dungeons before new adventurers come through, you can find this? So this is the Holy Hand Grenade from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, though a young Captain Eggcellent only knew of this weapon of mass destruction because of worms. Hello and welcome to another episode of Video Game Easter Eggs, the series where we take a look at some of the latest and not so latest Easter eggs found in video games. As always, if you think you know of an Easter egg secret or hidden detail that I'm yet to cover, then let me know in the comments. And if you want to be extra kind and support the many hours I pour into recording each and every one of these Easter eggs myself, then check out the link to my Patreon in the description. Anyway, without further delay, let's get started. Right, let's begin today's video with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, because I still haven't gotten around to making an actual Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 video. I mean, that doesn't matter because we'll eventually find all the Easter eggs and put them in these videos. Or at least that's what I keep telling myself. Anyway, the first KCD2 Easter egg sees the return of an old friend. At the market in Kuttenberg, you can find this. So one of these melons is not like the other, as it has a red handprint on it along with a head of hair that would make Don King proud. This follically blessed melon is of course a reference to the Tom Hanks movie Castaway, and his beloved volleyball companion, Wilson. Wilson has appeared in tons of games before, including Goat Simulator and Dying Light, but personally, I'm always happy to find him. Next up, at this location on the map, you can find a seemingly deserted cottage, though outside is a table set for 7 small people and 1 not so small person. So perhaps it's not as deserted as we first thought. Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to head inside.
Oof. I should go back.
So laying on the bed, next to a half-eaten apple, is a woman, and next to her are 7 tiny beds. Now I'm sure that you don't need me to spell this one out, but this is a reference to Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. Of course, Snow White ate a poisoned apple and then fell asleep, with only true love's kiss being able to wake her up.
Like that's ever gonna happen.
Now, you don't have the option to kiss Snow White in the game, but you can take a bite of the apple, which, just like the fairy tale, will make you feel very tired, which is pretty cool. The final Kingdom Come 2 Easter egg can be found here on the map. So in the tree is a skeleton riding a broom with some sort of ball stuck in its mouth. Now, this is not a reference to how your mum spends her weekends. It is instead a reference to Harry Potter and his first Quidditch match, where Harry almost ends up swallowing the snitch. Oh, and by the way, I didn't mean that about your mum. I'm sure she's lovely. Now, when I was a kid and I heard people talking about horsepower in relation to cars, I honestly thought they were talking about how many horses it would take to keep up with that car. Obviously, as an adult, I now understand that I was wrong, but it seems that someone on the Beam.NG dev team might have also been just as confused as I once was. Recently, a load of damage-causing props were added to the game, and as you might expect, they are really fun to mess around with. One of the props is this thing, which is basically the world's most destructive fidget spinner. Now you might be wondering what's powering this car-wrecking device. Well, let's take a look. So inside of the machine is a single horse. In motion, we can see that the horse is working overtime to get things spinning. I mean, I'm getting dizzy just watching it, so God knows how it feels. This is an Easter egg that makes my confusion surrounding horsepower a little easier to admit. Now, whenever people talk about Bloober Team, they mention either Layers of Fear or the Silent Hill 2 remake. But people rarely talk about the Medium, which granted wasn't the best game ever, but I liked it. Well, in Chronos: The New Dawn, it seems that I wasn't the only fan of the Medium, as one of the creatures you can fight is wearing this. So this thing is wearing a medium t-shirt. No, not that kind of medium, this kind of medium. It's a cool reference to one of the studio's less popular games. Now, if you've ever watched a creepy Easter eggs video before, you've probably heard of Ratman. Ratman, or Doug Ratman to give him his full name, was a former Aperture Science employee, and one of the few people that survived GLaDOS flooding the facility with neurotoxin. In Portal 2, you can find Ratman's hideouts, and it's no surprise that after watching his colleagues get poisoned by a murderous AI, he's not doing too well. Now, you might be wondering, what's that got to do with House Flipper 2? Well, in the basement of the forest cabin, you can find this. So not only can we find the cake from Portal, which I'm starting to think wasn't a lie given how many times I've seen it in games, but we can learn that the beaver is actually a lie. Who knows, perhaps Ratman made it out of the facility and set up base here. Right, let's end today's video with the brilliant Dying Light the Beast. Now, personally, I loved Dying Light 2, but as time has gone on, I've come to realise that it didn't quite hit the heights of the original Dying Light. When I heard the guys at Techland speaking about the Beast and saying they wanted it to be more like the first game, I was pretty excited, and to be fair to them, that's what they've done. It feels awesome to be back in the extremely muscular frame of Kyle Crane, and the gore and ragdoll physics are some of the best in all of gaming, something which was lacking in Dying Light 2. Now, we all know that the Dying Light series has had some awesome Easter eggs over the years, arguably some of gaming's best. I'm glad to say that Dying Light the Beast is no different, though the first Easter egg that I wanted to share is a little on the not so sure side of things. At this location on the map, you can find this guy. Now, without thinking, name the first video game character that this guy reminds you of. Well, the Dying Light community, or at least some of it, seem to think that this is a reference to James Sunderland from Silent Hill 2. And you know what? I do kind of see it. Of course, this wouldn't be the first time that Dying Light has referenced a survival horror classic, with the inclusion of Leon Kennedy and Chris Redfield in Dying Light 2 annoying the lawyers at Capcom so much that the names had to be changed to Leon Kennedy and Chris Bluefield. And no, I'm not joking. Perhaps that's why this body isn't so obvious. Techland didn't want to risk the wrath of Konami's lawyers. I mean, it could be that, or it could just be a random man. Let me know what you think. The next Easter egg is a 3-in-1, which might be a series first. I mean, it probably isn't, but just work with me here. At this location on the map, you can find platform 9 3/4, which is a reference to Harry Potter. Now, in the Harry Potter movies, people just ran straight through the wall at platform 9 3/4, and you can do that in the Beast, though what's on the other side may surprise you. So inside the tunnel are a bunch of Minecraft blocks, and just like Minecraft, you can destroy these blocks pretty easily. Though be careful, because just like the dark caves of Minecraft, you can run into zombies. So that's 2 of the 3 Easter eggs, but the final one is probably the best of the lot. Okay, so it's just a train, which isn't that exciting. Well, that's where you'd be wrong. This train is a reference to an urban legend that claims Nazis hid a train loaded with gold and treasure during the final days of World War II. It's a cool story, but despite numerous searches, no trace of the train, its tracks, or treasure have ever been found. Here's the thing, next to the train, you can find some gold bars, and the last hand of Glover, which does this. So fans of Dead Island and Dying Light will already be familiar with the power of Glover, as it has appeared in previous Techland games before, though given that this one is called the Last Hand of Glover, perhaps this is going to be the final Glover that we can find. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video, then leaving a like is really appreciated. If you are a fan of Easter eggs and secrets in games, then perhaps consider subscribing, as that's what this channel is all about. YouTube seems to think that you'll enjoy the video on screen, so go ahead and check that out. And as always, thank you all for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.